y'all really could have just seen what I had to do to get this camera situated, y'all probably would have been laughing at me. But it's okay because we're here. Hi guys. I'm so excited. Excuse how I sound. I know if y'all been following me, I've been screaming my heart out to Broadway songs. My birthday just passed November 9th. So, so I just went to his concert at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. So, excuse how I sound. I'm gonna be taking my time getting through this video. But we're here. It's been a long time coming. I'm so excited. If you're here right now, like, comment, subscribe. But first of all, thank you for being here right now because you definitely didn't have to. So, I see you. Thank you. But we're just gonna jump right into it. We're just gonna get to chatting a little bit. Y'all gonna get to know me. I have some questions here that y'all sent to me way back when that I'm finally here and ready to record and answer for you. So once again, thanks for coming to my YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Love you so much for the support. And let's hop right into it. So my name is Maddie. Like I said, I just recently turned 24. I'm a Scorpio. So this video is just really gonna be about me like chatting, like talking to you guys, getting to know y'all, y'all getting to know me, and you know, just being besties. But alright, let's get right into it. So I have the questions on my phone that y'all sent to me. So the first couple questions are gonna be about me and like motherhood and what's going on. I have some basic questions just about me. So first question was, did it hurt when you gave birth? This is a common question. Me personally, I don't think it hurt giving birth. Like, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, before I even had gotten pregnant or anything, like the whole thought process of like giving birth scared me. Scared me. But like honestly, I feel like it's a mental thing. But like I said, don't get me wrong, everybody's different, everybody's pain tolerance isn't as high. So I feel like regular for vaginal, like it really depends, like with pushing and everything. I feel like it didn't hurt. Like to me, I feel like it didn't. But like even like I know some women who have C-sections, like even without pushing, like that's painful. So, but I had a regular natural birth. So with that, it didn't bother me. The only thing is like, you know, like the whole process of like pushing and like bearing down, like it's really just mad pressure. But it wasn't painful to me. But honestly, like, you know, I was just ready to like push him out, like get out of there, because I really didn't even want to be there with everybody looking at my, you know what, like, so I just wanted to do what I had to do and get out. So my next question is, what's the hardest part about being a mom? The hardest part I think about being a mom is that, okay, so people might look at this as like, what's the hardest part about being a mom, like when it comes to like your child, but my child doesn't make it hard for me. In other words, just want to put that out there. And truthfully, being a mom, it's like, it's all a mental thing. Like it still hasn't really even hit me that I am a mom. Like it just haven't hit me yet. But personally, like the hardest thing I would say is just, you know, really getting through those days when it's like, damn, like I'm really here. I'm really in this. Like, you know, like this is really my reality. And not saying that I want to change anything or that I wish certain things could be different, but it's like, I'm really here under my circumstances and everything. Like, sometimes it's just hard to really get through those days. And trust and believe, I am someone who has gone through depression and anxiety, still have those things to this day, still going through them. It's gotten better. But, you know, just being a mom and having those things to deal with, and then on top of a child, like, sometimes it can just be a lot of mental battles. It can just be like, you know, really low lows, like I've said before and put out publicly on my page, and really high highs. So sometimes it just really depends, like how you're gonna choose to get through those low lows. And I think that's the hardest part. It's like just really getting through every single challenge, because he's only my son. He's only gonna get older, Caleb. Y'all will see him on the channel too. But he's only gonna get older, so it's only gonna become more challenging when it comes to certain things. And I think it's just, wrapping your mind around how you're gonna prepare yourself, how you're gonna get through those things, and really just maturing as a mom, and like actually like mentally helping yourself to be able to go through those low lows. Because everybody has their days. Everybody has good days. There's also bad days though. But again, I think the hardest part is just, really getting through those days when you know that's like, you gotta get through them. Like, you're still a mom at the end of the day. You gotta keep going. I think that's what it is sometimes for me. It's like, I gotta keep going. So, but my next question is, did you breastfeed? No, I didn't. And this is like a topic I could probably like really talk about for hours. Like, for example, like before I gave birth, it was just, sometimes for some women, even when you are pregnant, like it's just better to be safe than sorry. Like, you want to be prepared. So we got a whole bunch of like, milk pumpers, like breastfeeding essentials, like, for chapped nipples or whatever, like, excuse me, that was nasty. Like the pads and everything, like if you're leaking. We got all those essentials, but it's like I was always told to, like, you don't know if you're gonna be able to have a supply in the hospital. You don't really know if you have a supply until after you've given birth. I don't think people can discover if they have a supply beforehand, but I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But I feel like you really don't know until after you've given birth. So in the hospital, after I gave birth to my son, you have a lot of lactation nurses come in where, they try to, it's called stimulating the nipple, to be able to, like, get your milk flowing. And the first set of milk, I'm gonna look it up right now. The word for the first set of milk that you get, it's like stages of milk that you get before you actually like get the real supply of what you're supposed to feed your baby. It's called colostrum. I think I said that right. Colostrum. I did have that. And then in the hospital, my flow wasn't crazy, but like the nurses were telling me like, oh yeah, we do see that you have some type of supply. So, like I was ready, and I was teaching him to latch. He was latching. There were no issues there. But, it was, breastfeeding is also a mental thing too. So, I was kind of discouraged, even just after giving birth. Like, I've seen like TikToks where it's like you're such on a cloud nine after you give birth, and then like it starts to like slowly die down. So like I got a little discouraged. Like, I want him to latch. I want him to be able to feed from me and everything. So it was a little like discouraging in the hospital. And then when I got home, like, when he would cry or something, it's like, oh, get him to latch, get him to latch, get him to latch. But like I knew I didn't have anything there. And I don't know if it's being young. I'm also a smoker. So I don't know if it's because of that either. I don't think so, because I definitely follow this lady who promotes anything Mary Jane wise when it comes to breastfeeding or anything. But everybody has their preferences, nothing against it. But I don't really know if something hindered me from breastfeeding like before I got pregnant, or if it's just like I really just didn't have a real supply, because I was able to pump, but it wasn't like, a whole lot to have my son be full. Because, babies, when they're newborns, eat 2 to 3 hours. I would pump, but I wasn't getting anything. Nothing was coming out. And it was very, very discouraging, because I really wanted to breastfeed my son at the end of the day. But, I also know that it takes a lot of work, because, I was told like if it's easy, everybody would do it. But it takes a lot of work to be able to breastfeed, and personally, like, I just didn't want to keep stressing myself out about it. Not even that I didn't want to try, but a lot of people will make you feel better by saying like, a fed baby is a perfect baby. And I understand, but like, I wanted to try that connection of him latching, of, you know, breastfeeding, of, you know, that bonding moment. What's that like? Like, but I definitely say that, you know, I'll give it a go again second time around, but that won't be until like, you know, 2032. But I'm definitely gonna give it a second go around because I do believe that I'll be able to breastfeed and be able to experience what that was like. But to answer that question, no, I did not breastfeed. So our next question that I have is, how do I feel with PPD, postpartum depression? Personally, so I've heard that postpartum depression it doesn't last. Like, to the point where the high risk of postpartum depression and like symptoms is like literally in that window of your first 6 weeks after giving birth. That's what I was told. Personally, I feel like postpartum depression can show up at any time within the year of you giving birth. I feel like that. Don't quote me on that either. But I was told that, you know, professionally by a doctor. He had told me, he was like, well, we're not going to really label it as postpartum depression, you know, because it's not in a 6 week window thing. Because personally, like, I do have my days. Emotionally, just draining, just burnt out, you know? And that's what I'll describe it as, because I don't want anybody to think like, oh, she's so depressed with her child, or she, like, no. It's not anything like that. It's just there are days, like, you know, I'm just burnt out sometimes, you know? And sometimes I just can't wrap my mind around what it is I'm supposed to do. Like I said, the hardest part about being a mom for me is I'm a mom at the end of the day. I have to keep going. I cannot stop. I cannot stop. Like, it's not about me anymore. In other words, like, everybody has very much told me more than enough times. I'm very aware. Like, for example, with postpartum depression, I think for me, a trigger is when people say things like, oh, it's not about you anymore. Like, I'm aware. It's like, you know, that can affect people differently. Like, I know it's not about me anymore, but I also know that I still matter too. But, you know, I don't know. Sometimes postpartum depression can show up as, like, you know, just not having any patience, spazzing out on people that you really don't want to spaz out on, picking fights. Like, it can show up very differently for the most part for certain people or for other people. Like, for me, how I feel with it, this is why I describe it as like a burnt out, because that's sometimes how it can just be. Like, I just need a break. Like, sometimes, like, I just need to chill. I just want to take a nap, or I just want to get out the house. Like, you know? But I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I actually do cope with it well enough, or at least I'm learning to, because I'm definitely a fan of therapy. I haven't been in therapy in 2 years now, and it's really hard now finding a therapist, in my opinion. But I feel like therapy is necessary, and I definitely am taking those steps to go into therapy, because I definitely, like, have my days, like I've said. And, like, you know, I don't always know what postpartum depression looks like, so I definitely want to be able to get a hold on it, because I was one to never really have a lot of control over my emotions, so I do want to learn that. And I feel like that's another thing with postpartum depression, like, your emotions are kind of just still everywhere. People describe it as hormones, but, like, everything is still everywhere sometimes. And a lot of people don't notice it. A lot of people don't care to notice it. A lot of people around you just are worried about the baby. And that's all said and fine. But, like, you know, sometimes we do have to be able to sit back, you know, look at the mom too. Are you okay? Like, I know some days can be harder than others. Like, it's okay to just check on the mom too. And I'm very much an advocate for moms. Like, it's okay to check on moms too. We love our kids, but it's okay to check on moms too, 100%. So, but I feel I'm doing really well when it comes to postpartum depression. Somebody asked, how am I doing? Thank you. I really appreciate you asking that. I feel I'm doing okay. I feel that I'm in a good spot. I feel that, like, my coping mechanisms are helping. I feel like, I'm gonna keep saying this, like, there are good days and there are bad days. But I do feel like, personally, for me, that I'm doing good. Like, I do have people to talk to, but, I also don't talk to everybody. I also don't share everything. So, but within myself, I feel that I'm doing okay. Like, mentally, emotionally, like, because I am taking the steps to get there, And I think that's what matters the most, is that as long as you take the steps, that's all you can do for the most part, is just take the step for yourself. Take the step to want to be the better mom. Take the step to want to be the best mom. Take the step to want to just do it for you. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But take the step to want to do it for yourself. And I feel I'm doing that because I do care about myself. And I'm coming to realize, like, a lot of people say, like, after you have the baby, you realize who's there for you and whatnot. I'm not saying I've not had people, like, just up with me. Like, I still have the same people around me I had before I got pregnant. So, like, going forward, like, I feel like I do have the right people around me that I know I can talk to. Like, there are obviously people I know I can talk to. But it's like, sometimes, like, you can't spill everything on everybody, because at the end of the day, everybody's going through something. So I think sometimes that's, like, kind of my problem, is that I just need to be to me. I just need to focus on me. I don't need to spill everything out, and, I just need to keep it to myself. Because at the end of the day, like, sometimes we can feel like nobody's gonna care anyway. But then, like, people do make you comfortable enough to be able to express yourself to them. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm learning to be able to just cope within myself. I'm learning that. And I feel like a lot of us don't know how to do that all the time. We just want to vent to the first person that's there, like, let me tell you about my day, let me say this, blah, blah, blah. Like, some of us don't. Some of us just want to keep it to ourselves and just, like, not say nothing. But, like, personally, I really think that's why I'm an advocate for therapy now, because therapists aren't your family, they're not your friends, they're not your significant other. So it's like, you can spill everything out on them. And that's why I think, like, therapy is needed, because at the end of the day, even therapists go through things, but at the end of the day, that's their job. Like, so I can tell them, like, everything that it is at the end of the day that might have me, like, jumping off the walls at the end of the day. So it's just good to be able to express things to someone without any prejudgment, any animosity, any underlying anything. It's just good to be able to, just have someone that you can talk to. And I really do recommend therapy for anybody that feels like they don't have anybody to talk to, 100%. But you can always talk to me too, because, I just love to let people know, like, I'm always here at the end of the day. Even for my mommies, I'm always here. Like, it does not matter. Like, I want y'all to know that you have me to talk to. Because, like, even with moms, like, we don't always realize that, like, sometimes we do need other moms to talk to. I feel like I'm rambling. But just to say that how I feel, like, I'm learning to cope within myself. So, but I feel good overall. Like, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. So, thank you for asking. Next question we got is, do you feel like you make enough time for you? I feel like I do. I feel like I have a lot of help around me at the end of the day. So as long as we're communicating and I'm letting people know, like, what's going on, like, if I'm doing something that I can't bring my son to or doesn't involve him, like, I am making time for myself, I feel like that, as long as I'm communicating, like, I do have ample times to make time for myself. Like, I'm very much able to make time for myself, in other words. So I feel like I do know how to balance that when it comes to, being with my son, having some time for myself. Like, and sometimes all the time I don't get to do everything that I might want to make time for. But it's okay because I know that eventually, like, I'm gonna have that time for myself, and I actually look forward to making time for myself. Like, I enjoy having time for myself, so I feel like I do balance it well, and I do get to do the things that I like to do for myself. So I think I do make time for myself very strategically, and actually still get to, you know, be with my son and not feel guilty at the same time. Like, I did in the beginning. I'm not sure if this is still the same. My son is 9 months, but even when I do make time and if I'm out, like, I know that I deserve it. So I don't necessarily feel guilty when I am out for too long or anything, because I also make sure my son is 100%, he's good. I can check on him. I know that he's good. So that's why I don't feel guilty, and I know that I deserve this time that I'm making for myself. So I do feel like I do make enough time for myself to answer that question. This is a big question. This next one is, how has life changed since then? Life has changed, like, not drastically, but it just feels like it has at the same time. But personally, I'm still learning and my thought process is still changing. But I never knew that I could experience a love like that. That's what's changed since him, is what I want to implement, because I have somebody looking up to me now, and that makes me want to change who I can be as a person, how I can react, how I can go about things, how I handle situations, like life in general, and what I do when it comes to that. Like, I know that I just want to be able to be a different person, like a soft girl, so to speak, but also like someone who's just wanting to be a different person, like, and wanting to change, be more mature, like, be someone my son is proud to say, that's my mom. Like, my mom knows how to handle situations. My mom, she's not angry all the time. My mom, she never lets me see when she's angry. She's sweet, she's kind, like, she's down to earth, like, she's very patient, like, and I think that's the biggest thing for me, like, is patience. Like, especially with my son, like, I'm learning patience. If you know, you know, like, I'm not the most patient person, but I definitely try my hardest to be able to implement new things. And again, this is why I'm an advocate for therapy, because I feel like it does help you in ways of, like, wanting to implement new things. Like, therapists do help in ways of wanting you to change. Like, they want to see you change. They want you to know that, like, they have the tools or certain things for you to be able to abide by, to just, you want to change, you want to see different, like, and especially if you express that enough, like, I'm sure, like, they're more than happy to help you, that we want to see you change. Like, you're here, you came to therapy because you want something different, you want to change, you want to be able to implement new things. And I think that's what's changed for me, is that I want to change, I want new things, I want to be able to do something different, and I want to be able to show different. I want to be able to show my son that I'm a good person. I have a good heart, I have a good mind, emotionally, spiritually, like, I'm in tune with myself, and I just want to be the best mom that I can be for him. To really explain it at the end of the day, like, that's what's changed. Like, my thought process, I'm not gonna say, like, oh yeah, my thought process has changed, because it doesn't happen overnight, but I definitely want to explain, like, how my thought process is changing. Like, there are certain things, like, being the old Maddie, and, like, you know, I'm a ticking time bomb, just to put it out there. And I still have those moments, but, like, I'm really trying my hardest to not have things affect me, to not give certain things a reaction all the time, to not always have my feelings take over before I just logically think about how to go about a situation. So I'm really trying to implement new habits in those days. And my son really drives me to want to be a different person. He is my motivation. Like, 100%, like, everybody would probably be like, oh yeah, he should be, he should child. Like, I 100% agree, but I just feel that I want change, like, and he motivates me to want more. So that's why I say, like, he's my motivation at the end of the day. And I'm pretty sure, like, for everyone out there, your kids are your motivation at the end of the day. Like, they're your kids. Like, this is my mini me. This is something that I created, my creation, and my creation inspires me. Like, because I created you. Obviously, it would not have been done without God above for, you know, planting a seed inside of me to be able to give birth to such a beautiful creation. So, but it's just mind blowing to be able to witness something that two people have come together to create. And it's like so crazy because even still, like, mentally, like, my mind has not wrapped around that whole thing yet. It will, it definitely will, but it's just really still crazy to even think about, to even reiterate it and just explain it and talk about it. Like, it's just crazy at the end of the day. Like, it's really crazy. If we're being honest, like, it's crazy. Like, I had a kid, it's crazy. I have a child, it's crazy. I'm looking at my son, it's crazy. Son, like, it doesn't even sometimes sound legit coming out of my mouth. I don't know if that's just because, you know, it's still, like, very much the early days. Like, he's only 9 months. Like, it's so crazy still to think I have a 9-month-old. But yeah, so honestly, being a mom is rewarding because, especially like after giving birth and everything, like, pat yourself on the back. Like, you did that. Like, but still, it's just crazy to know, like, you have the power to do that. Women are amazing, like, honestly. But it's still, I still can't wrap my mind around, like, I was one of those women who did that. It's just crazy. But, so my next question is, what sign are you? I'm a Scorpio. A lot of people don't like Scorpios. A lot of people don't even get into the zodiac and, like, all of that and astrology. But yes, I'm a Scorpio. Proud Scorpio. So like I said, guys, like, I just really wanted to chat with y'all, let y'all get to know me, and, like, you know, a snippet into my life about being a mom and all of that. And this is really just a quick thing to show my face and say hey and just chat with y'all. But like I said, guys, my channel is gonna be mostly like just mom, motherhood, being with my son, my lifestyle, having fun, doing those little things that I do that I like to do, getting out, making time for me, also having time with my son, also just, you know, just being an advocate for certain things. So if you made it this far in this video, thank you. I see you, and I appreciate you for showing your support 100%. And I'm so glad to be able to start this journey. I'm really excited for the most part because I just have a passion to want to be able to let people know my story. Like, I don't want to write a book. I maybe could. I want to do a podcast. Like, I just want to get out there and talk. Like, I like to chat, but I do want to get out there and talk. Like, I just want to explain things. I just want to talk with y'all. I just want to be able to, like, say, like, what my story is. And I'm not saying that nobody has the same story as me or anybody's doing anything different than me, because we're all on the same walk of life, different paths. But I'm not trying to make it seem like that I'm any different from anybody who's a new mom going through what I'm going through. But that's why I'm here, to just let you know that I'm going through the same thing. And, you know, if anybody ever wants to talk, I'm here. So, but even for my girls that aren't the moms, like, I'm still here, still able to have fun. We can do things together. We can chat, you know? So, but like I said, if you made it this far in this video, I really do appreciate you being here. The support is real. I appreciate it, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you all. Next video, be on the lookout. But again, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications if you want to get notifications. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for supporting my son and I. And like I said, if you made it this far, I see you. You're welcome. But that's all that I have for right now. So be on the lookout for the next video. Tune in next time.